Hey guys, in this video, we are going to discuss the top 10 automotive ERP systems in 2025. So let's just dive in.
Growing a business requires a holistic approach that extends beyond sales and marketing. This approach needs alignment among people, processes, and technologies. So if you're a business owner, operations, or finance leader looking to learn growth strategies from your peers and competitors, you're tuned into the right podcast. Welcome to the WBS Podcast, where scalable growth using business systems is our number one priority. Now, here is your host, Sam Gupta.
My name is Sam Gupta. I am principal at Elevate IQ. Elevate IQ is the independent, vendor agnostic digital transformation and business systems firm. We help our clients with digital transformation strategy, system selection, change management. On that note, let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be top 10 automotive ERP systems in 2025. Before we look at the list, let's look at how we define the automotive segment and some of the variables used for this analysis. Number one, this is the list of the systems themselves and not necessarily of the companies that are publishing these systems or building these systems. In this market segment, we are considering companies of all sizes, from your startup to small to mid to large. So if you are looking for a very specific system for your size segment, pay close attention to the commentary as I discuss each of the systems. I will be talking about the size segment or where these systems have been proven. So pay close attention to that, even though this list is slightly generic, at least as far as the size segments go. Now, in this particular market segment, even though this is very specific to automotive, in the automotive value chain, as well as in the market segment, there are many different business models, and they all are going to be relevant for this, regardless of whether you are going to be OEM, T1, T2, service companies, whether you are going to supply parts made of plastic or metal. All of those are bucketed as part of this market segment. Again, if you are looking for specific analysis related to your micro industry as well as size, then pay close attention to the commentary as I discuss each of the systems. Now, some of the differentiators that you are going to notice as part of this analysis. Number one, the majority of the systems that we have, they are going to fall under two or three different buckets. So number one bucket is basically some systems are very horizontal in nature. They are designed for slightly more platform centric approach, and they are going to be good for companies that care for slightly more generalized capabilities, and then they are going to augment that with some of the third party add-ons. So that is one category of these systems. The second category of the system is going to be suite-centric systems. But the challenge with these suite-centric systems, even though the advantage of those systems is going to be that you are going to get a lot as part of the suite, but then you have to replace pretty much that you have right now. Sometimes that could be disruptive. You might have adoption challenges because of that. And with the platform centric approach, you are looking at slightly more complex implementation, etc. Now, when you look at the automotive segment, there are going to be some of the very specific compliance requirements, the quality requirements, or the product specific needs that these companies are going to need that are not necessarily built as part of the vanilla ERP system. So that's where some systems are going to have that. For example, when you look at capabilities such as MMOG, LE, APQP, Gauge, RNR, and PPAP compliance, some of the unique capabilities that only systems that are designed for automotive segment are going to support natively. Other systems are probably going to rely on third party add-ons. Now, there are several different variables that we generally use to compile these lists. And for this one as well, we have done that. So number one is the product share acquisition strategy focused on automotive ERP, product roadmap, community ecosystem, win rate, technology strategy, as well as the investors. So these are different dimensions that we use. So now let's look at the list. Number 10 on our list is IFS. And IFS, overall, from the product perspective, it has some presence in the automotive space. Especially, you are going to find a lot more installations in the aftermarket space. And that's what we find when we talk to our customers, where any systems is being used, where we are coming across these systems more. So aftermarket is one of the verticals where IFS is installed as far as the scope of automotive segment goes. And it does not mean that IFS is not going to be fit for other segments. And any companies that are going to be heavier on assets or field service, in general, these are going to be companies which are providing either some sort of aftermarket service, and that's where IFS is really strong in general. So a couple of strengths to note is number one, the asset management plus field service combination is where IFS has the major strength. They have done a lot of acquisitions lately. They have been more in the AI space, but for the most part, if you notice their acquisitions, 90% of them are doing work or improving the processes related to either predictive maintenance or something related to asset. So that has been their direction, and that is the direction that we feel that they are going to take in the future as well, just because they are very strong in those asset centric as well as the field service centric workflows. Their capabilities are very enterprise grade. In fact, sometimes companies use these systems in conjunction with other ERP systems or the core ERP workflows, but they are going to use these best of breed components from IFS for these processes. Now, it is proven among slightly larger logos compared to what you are going to find with other systems on this list. So they are very well proven, not just in the smaller segment, but also in the upper mid market, large segment. They have a lot of logos. Their technology is superior as well, even though they were a legacy vendor, but their platform appears to be very cloud native. So that is also a huge strength for IFX. Some limitations to keep in mind is the system in general, in terms of size, is much bigger. So for SMBs, it's probably going to come across as overwhelming. It might be slightly more expensive. The implementation is going to be difficult as well, just because the system is very large. It is designed for upper mid market, large organizations. The kind of processes it is going to support, it's designed to support those large companies. Now, compared to the other systems on the list, when you look at the suite-centric capabilities, they are not going to be as rich. Other systems are going to have a lot more capabilities. Packaged, the integrations that they are going to have are going to be tailored to automotive. The compliance requirements they are going to have, they are going to be much stronger. IFS is probably not going to be as strong there. And again, it's also not as diverse in terms of supporting many different business models that some of the generalized systems might be able to do. So that's number 10. Now, number 9 on our list is Oracle Cloud ERP. And for the most part, Oracle Cloud ERP falls in that generalized bucket of ERP systems. And again, these systems are far more capable globally. They have a lot more ERP layers to be able to support global operations, especially in geographies where you are not going to find other operationally rich prescriptive ERP systems. In those spaces, Oracle Cloud ERP could be a great fit. In general, with the generalized systems, the challenge that they have is they cannot provide as much last mile capabilities. So even though you are going to get core ERP layers, but to be able to enable the last mile capabilities, you will spend a lot more in consulting effort. The implementation is going to be challenging, so you would require a lot more IT maturity internally, and that's why these systems are generally more friendly for your larger companies, publicly traded companies, the global companies, they are going to get the best value from these systems. Now, some other strengths to keep in mind. It is proven for very large workloads. Then some limitations to keep in mind is number one, the last mile capabilities and the suite-centric capabilities. The integrations are not going to be as rich as you are going to find with the other systems on this list. And for SMB customers, it might be slightly expensive. The implementation might be difficult just because of the need for enabling those layers that are going to be pre-tested, pre-flavored with the other systems that we have on this list. And overall, when you compare the generalized category as well as the large systems, the peers for Oracle is going to be either SAP S/4HANA or Microsoft Dynamics 365 apps, FNO, whatever name you want to call that. So compared to these systems, the ecosystem for Oracle, it does not seem to be as strong, at least these days. For whatever reason, the ecosystem is not, we don't see as much momentum in the Oracle ecosystem as we are able to notice with the other ERP systems, for example, Microsoft or SAP. But that's a great system, and it's number 9. Number 8 on our list is Microsoft Dynamics 365. And we are branding this as apps, but the old name of the system was FNO. The newer names that they have come up with, they are calling this as, I think, supply chain management and the project operations. They have bucketed this under these two products. So again, you might need to do a little bit of research. Microsoft naming and branding is always confusing, but underneath the product that you have, this is their flagship product, which used to be called Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. For the most part, when you look at from the product positioning perspective, it is very successful in that upper mid market as well as some of the lower large enterprise segment. And this is going to be a fit. Again, this is more of the generalized category, just like your SAP or Oracle, where you would require a lot more add-ons. But luckily, in their ecosystem, you have a lot of vendors as well as add-ons. With these add-ons and the vendors that you are going to add, sometimes the risk is going to increase of the implementation. Some other strengths for Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO is the whole diverse nature of the product, where you can support a lot more business models. So even though you might be an automotive company, but let's say if you have some other operations as well, and you want to support all of that as part of the same product, same database, that's where your Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO is going to be a great fit. In general, Microsoft Dynamics products are designed for very high customizability. But when you have an option to be customizable, then generally companies run into trouble, especially if they are not going to have as much maturity with their IT organization, or the team might not be as seasoned. That's where companies run into trouble. So that's where you would require a lot more consulting help if you're choosing a path for yourself where you are going to customize this heavily. But if you are going to have very ad hoc workflows, that's where your Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO is going to be a great fit. Some limitations to keep in mind is the whole suite-centric capabilities are going to be limited. Just like your with the other products, they are going to be tailored and flavored. For example, let's say from the automotive perspective, let's say if you look at PPAP compliance, when you look at the core product, it might not be as intuitive as you are going to find with the product that are flavored, or they have a suite flavored for automotive, as opposed to the generalized product that Microsoft Dynamics is going to have. And then it's probably going to be too big for smaller companies, as well as the whole implementation is probably going to be risky as well as expensive for smaller companies. So that's number 8. Number 7 on our list is SAP S/4HANA. SAP S/4HANA is very similar as Oracle Cloud ERP or Microsoft Dynamics 365 FNO. They have very similar strategy. The only advantage with SAP S/4HANA at this point of time is their suite is probably going to be richer than Microsoft if you look at the generalized suite capabilities, for example, your WMS, TMS, if you are looking at e-commerce in the automotive space, then they are going to have the e-commerce platform as well. The ACM capabilities, all of those are going to be part of the suite. But when you look at the suite from the automotive perspective, you might not have as many options as you are going to find with some of the other products on this list. So this would fall under that generalized category. Overall, the advantage compared to your Oracle Cloud ERP or Microsoft with SAP is that number one, it has been proven for very large workloads. So, for example, let's say if you are going to be a publicly traded company and you are trying to consolidate all of your MRP, global MRP workflows in one database, in one system. That's where SAP S4 HANA really shines compared to the other systems, for example, Microsoft Oracle. The limitations with SAP is that the cloud capabilities might not be as rich even today, but then they have much more exciting announcement from the AI perspective. Microsoft is going to have that as well, and SAP has that. Oracle, we are not hearing as much overall from the AI perspective. So those are some of the pros and cons, and that's number 7. Now, number 6 on our list is the system called IQMS or Dalmia Works. In general, Dalmia Works you are going to find in the automotive spaces where either the suppliers are going to be slightly plastic centric, and these are all SMB companies, or they are going to be, let's say, in the Honda ecosystem. That's where they are going to find a lot more compliance capabilities baked as part of the product. The strengths to keep in mind from the Dalmia Works perspective, since this is a very prescriptive system, so you are going to find a lot more as part of the suite. The PLM, the supply chain sort of capabilities, they all are going to be part of the suite. So you don't have to worry about integration, etc. And that's where the implementation could be slightly easier. But there are cons of this approach as well, because in most cases, if you are buying everything as one piece, then you are going to be okay. But let's say if you need to pick and choose, that's where you are not going to find a lot more integrations that are going to be pre-baked, or you might be investing a lot more with the system as compared to the generalized systems. There are always going to be pros and cons, whichever system you are going to choose. But with this, you are going to get the prescriptive suite that is going to be pre-flavored, tailored for automotive and tested. Now, if you can buy everything as a suite, you are going to have much cheaper, much easier implementation in general. The other limitations to keep in mind with Dalmia Works is their tech as well as ecosystem is going to be limited. The tech is very legacy. At this point of time, we have not heard any sort of momentum from the AI perspective. If they are doing any sort of investment, in general, they were very slower in modernizing their tech compared to any other systems that we have on this list. But it's still a very strong system, and that's number 6. Number 5 on our list is Infor Cloud Suite Industrial Sideline. And this is the SMB product from Infor. And in general, this is going to be a great fit for companies that are going to be automotive suppliers and sometimes OEMs as well. It has some very unique capabilities. For example, let's say if you're looking for very highly configured jobs, then it has very enterprise grade configurator that is integrated as part of Infor Cloud Suite industrial product. So that is going to be number 1. The field service centric capabilities are going to be number 2. That is very intertwined with the product itself. The way their bombs are designed, it does not necessarily mandate the formal engineering processes where you have to have the revision number. So that is going to be the third strength of the product, and this is going to matter in the automotive space, because in general, automotive products are not going to be as formalized depending upon the organization, but in most cases they are probably not going to be as formalized, so they would require support for both informal and formal bombs. Now, some limitations to keep in mind is the financial reporting experience is probably going to be disconnected. The way the product is designed, it's slightly different experience compared to the other products that we have on this list. And while they have improved their user experience, still legacy, it's not as modern as some of the other systems that we have. on this list. And then we don't have as much excitement from the AI perspective on this product. There are other initiatives that Infor is working on, but there is no clear roadmap in terms of where they are publishing these AI capabilities. And their ecosystem in general is weaker, even though they have put substantial effort in growing their partner ecosystem, the integration ecosystem. But still, even today, their ecosystem is weaker. They have signed some very exciting partnerships in 2024, 2025. For example, they have very large integrators now that are part of their ecosystem. So that's exciting. So those are some of the strengths and limitations, and that's number 5. Number 4 on our list is Plex. Plex had very successful run in the automotive vertical in general. This was very well positioned for automotive verticals. In fact, that is the only vertical that they used to target. But now they are targeting a lot for food and beverage, etc. But for the most part, it was always designed for automotive centric verticals. It was always strong in very Ford and Toyota ecosystems. For those, you are going to find a lot more compliance centric capabilities. It might not be as strong with the Honda, and Honda ecosystem generally has either Info-LN or IQMS. They have a lot more success in those ecosystems. Plex also takes a very unique approach. It is the MES first ERP system. So MES is going to be very strong. But if you look at the core ERP layers, for example, let's say if inventory is going to be one of the critical success factors for you, or costing is the critical success factor for you, then you are not going to find as strong layers from the core ERP perspective. But if operations and the plant floor and the shop floor is the critical success factor for you, then you might like Plex a lot more. Some other limitations to keep in mind is not as scalable for diverse business model, and their ecosystem is limited, as well as the consulting base is going to be super limited as well. So that's number 4. Number 3 on our list is Appicore Kinetic. And Appicore Kinetic is also a very suite centric system. Their suite has become even larger in the recent years because they have acquired a lot more products in general. They are growing their capabilities around e-commerce. They have acquired PIM, they have acquired SNOP capabilities. So now overall, the suite is going to be much thicker. They have also made some announcements related to AI. So that's very exciting. At this point of time, we don't know when they are going to deliver, but they have made the announcement that other vendors have not, at least to the extent what they have shown overall from the agentic AI perspective. That is very exciting development for Appicore Connect. Some strengths to keep in mind from Appicore Kinetic perspective: it is designed for those formal manufacturing processes, meaning it is going to mandate the revision number. For some engineering organizations, that's going to be a deal breaker. So for those industries, this is going to be a great fit. But some organizations don't appreciate that. That's where you need to look at whether this is going to be a factor that you need to consider when looking at the ERP system. Now, the other strength that you have from the Epicure Kinetic perspective, it does really well in those complex inventory verticals, especially metal centric products or metal centric verticals, just because in those industries, the inventory is going to be very complex, not just from the estimation or quoting perspective, but also from the planning perspective. Now, this need might appear as basic, and you might feel that most ERP systems should be able to cater that, but it gets very tricky in general, the way these the inventory layers work. So if you are going to be in metal centric spaces or in the automotive vertical as well, if you are metal centric supplier, then you might like Epicor Kinetic a lot more depending upon how it is implemented. But the core inventory layers are very strong in general with Epicor Kinetic. Some limitations to keep in mind is the whole finance capabilities. They are not as streamlined overall from the product synergy perspective. So it might feel as if it is afterthought, but it's going to be very similar experience as some of the other suites. For example, Epicor, Infor, they are very similar products in general. The global financial layers are not as rich. So that's where Epicor Kinetic might not be the best fit for very large companies, but it does really well in the smaller mid-sized companies. And some of the challenges that you are going to notice when you compare all of these products, even though you are going to find workarounds with most of the products. But when you look at the product experience, so field service quality, they might not be as embedded as you are going to find with some of the other products. For example, if you compare this with Infor, then their experience is slightly synergistic overall the way the product is built. And their ecosystem and marketplace is going to be as weak as any other prescriptive systems. So that's number three. Now, number two on our list is QAD. And QAD is one of the leaders in the automotive space. They probably have the most installations in the automotive sector compared to other systems that we have on this list. So, some of these trends to keep in mind is the global capabilities. The way the product is designed for those supply chain program management processes from the automotive perspective. You are going to have the last mile capability and fully flavored sweet that is going to be there with QAD. Now, QAD also has made some very exciting announcements recently. Even though it was a legacy technology, they have made an announcement to change their platform. So that is a very exciting news. They have a new CEO. Most likely, the focus of new CEO is going to be to enable AI-centric processes. And hopefully, they are not only going to make this cloud native, but this is going to be probably a AI first system as well. So that's a very exciting direction for QAD. In general, QAD was very strong in automotive. Now with technology, if they can make the product better as well, that's going to be a huge plus overall for QAD. The limitations to keep in mind is the product is not as diverse as some of the generalized product, and then it's not going to be ideal fit for global consolidation. If you're buying primarily for the financial capabilities, global financial capabilities, global consolidation, then QAD might not be the best fit. And their ecosystem is not going to be as strong as some of the other products that we have on this list. So that's number two. Number one on our list is Infor Cloud Suite LN. And Infor Cloud Suite LN is ideal for mid to large automotive companies when they need the comprehensive manufacturing solution. So, for example, when you compare this with some of the other manufacturing prescriptive suites that we have reviewed, even products from Infor, for example, Infor Cloud Suite Industrial Sightline or Epicor Kinetic or IQMS, all of those products are not going to be as rich with all of the manufacturing modes and processes. It is not designed for the global trade compliance, etc. But Infor Cloud Suite LN is going to cover for all of those capabilities. So that's where the size of Infor Cloud Suite LN product is much bigger, and that's why it is a much better fit for mid to large automotive companies when you don't want to go for those generalized product, because the implementation is going to be much more expensive. With those, that's where you are going to find real value with Infor Cloud Suite LN. But the constraint that you are going to run into is that if you replace everything that Infor Cloud Suite LN suite is providing, then you will get really good value. If you have to integrate all of this, then you are looking at a lot more consulting effort in general, and that's where your implementation might become slightly more complex. Some other strengths to keep in mind: overall, this is designed for global operations, even though they may not have as many countries supported as your SAP, Oracle, etc. But it is designed for global manufacturing operations as opposed to global financial operations. And the suite is going to be far more complete in general compared to some of the other products. And then some limitations to keep in mind is this is not as diverse, especially if you're looking only for financial consolidation, then this might not be the best fit. And the UI experience, even though they have come a long way overall in improving, but still the UI is very legacy. It's not as modern, so sometimes there might be adoption issues because of that. And then weaker ecosystem as well as marketplace. So that's going to be another con from the Infor perspective. So that's number one. Now, if you enjoyed this video, we publish these videos on a weekly basis on our YouTube channel. So you might want to hit subscribe button if you don't want to miss those. This podcast is also available in the audio form on any major podcasting platform. So you might want to check there and subscribe. Generally, this video is meant to be very brief, so you are not going to find a lot of details. If you're looking for details such as what changed from the last year in terms of ranking, that's where we will have a report that goes with this video. We are going to link that, so you might want to download that. And if you have not checked our digital transformation report, we are going to have a link of that as well. On that note, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the WBS Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information on growth strategies for SMBs using ERP and digital transformation, check out our community at WBS.rocks. We'll see you next time.